5,000 years ago, a man sitting in a forest described your world with an accuracy that should make you deeply uncomfortable. He described political leaders who exploit their people. He described wealth as the only measure of worth. He described the breakdown of families, the commercialization of spirituality, the poisoning of the environment, and the persecution of truth speakers. He described a world drowning in information and starving for wisdom. He wasn't guessing. He wasn't extrapolating from trends. He was reading a timeline that hadn't happened yet with the precision of someone reading yesterday's news. This is the Bhagavatam's prophecy of Kali Yuga, our age. And after hearing it, you will never read this text as ancient literature again. The Vedic tradition divides time into 4 ages. The Yugas. Each age represents a degradation of Dharma, like a table losing one leg at a time. In Satya Yuga, the age of truth, Dharma stands on all 4 legs. People are naturally virtuous. Truth is obvious. Spiritual practice is effortless because the entire environment supports it. In Treta Yuga, one leg is lost. Dharma stands at 75%. Virtue requires effort. Spiritual practice takes discipline. In Dvapara Yuga, another leg falls, 50%. The balance between good and evil is nearly equal. Every generation fights to maintain what the previous one established. And then Kali Yuga, our age, the age of conflict, confusion, and hypocrisy. Dharma stands on one leg, and even that one leg is under constant attack. Kali Yuga began, according to the tradition, the moment Krishna left the earth, approximately 5,000 years ago. And the Bhagavatam, through the voice of Shukadeva, describes what this age would look like with a specificity that will stop you cold. Shukadeva tells Parikshit, in Kali Yuga, leaders will not be chosen for their virtue, but for their wealth and power. They will be like plunderers, taxing the people beyond endurance, serving themselves rather than those they govern. Government will be reduced to whoever can seize control. Qualifications will not matter. Character will not matter. The ability to manipulate and dominate will be the only qualification for leadership. He says, the powerful will exploit the weak openly, and the weak will have no recourse. Justice will be available only to those who can pay for it. Read this and look at your news feed. Look at the political landscape of any country on earth. Look at who holds power and ask yourself, were they chosen for their virtue? The Bhagavatam doesn't describe a single corrupt leader. It describes a systemic condition, an age where the very mechanism for selecting leaders is broken, where the incentive structure itself ensures that the wrong people rise. 5,000 years ago, written on palm leaves in a forest, describing your government. In Kali Yuga, Shukadeva continues, a person's worth will be measured solely by their wealth. It will not matter if they are wise, virtuous, or kind. If they are rich, they will be respected. If they are poor, they will be invisible. Marriage will be based on agreement and physical attraction rather than compatibility of character and dharma. Relationships will be fragile and easily abandoned. Family bonds will weaken. Children will disrespect parents. Parents will see children as burdens. The elderly will be neglected and abandoned. Beauty will be the only measure of worth in a woman. A man will be valued only by his earning capacity. Hypocrisy will be mistaken for spirituality. Those who can speak cleverly about dharma, even while violating every principle, will be honored as spiritual authorities. Let that last one sit. How many spiritual teachers, influencers, and self-help authorities are celebrated not for their transformation, but for their presentation? How many can deliver a sermon on detachment from the driver's seat of a car that costs more than a house? The Bhagavatam doesn't predict the internet. It doesn't name specific technologies. It does something more powerful. It predicts the value system that would make the internet's worst features inevitable. When appearance matters more than substance, you will build technologies that optimize for appearance. When wealth is the measure of worth, you will build economies that sacrifice everything else for growth. The technology is the symptom. The values are the disease. And the Bhagavatam diagnosed the disease 5 millennia before the symptoms appeared. In Kali Yuga, Shukadeva says, truth speakers will be persecuted. Those who speak honestly will be treated as enemies. Lies told with confidence will be preferred over truth spoken with humility. People will confuse opinion with knowledge. They will believe they understand subjects they have never studied. They will argue about things they have never experienced. And the loudest voice will be mistaken for the most authoritative. Spiritual texts will be commercialized. Sacred knowledge will be sold as a product. Teachers will charge for what should be given freely. And the sacred will be mixed with entertainment until the line between them is erased. The Bhagavatam is not making a moral judgment. It's describing a physics. When Dharma degrades, the ability to distinguish truth from noise degrades with it. The faculty of discrimination, viveka, becomes the first casualty. And without discrimination, everything looks equally true and equally false. You scroll through a feed and the profound and the trivial are delivered in the same format, at the same speed with the same algorithmic weight. This is not a problem of information. It's a problem of perception. The signal hasn't disappeared. The receiver has been degraded. You are living in an age where truth is still being spoken, constantly, abundantly, but the capacity to hear it has been systematically eroded. In Kali Yuga, the text continues, the earth will be exploited to exhaustion. Rivers will thin. Seasons will become unpredictable. The environment will be treated as a resource to be extracted rather than a living system to be honored. The human body will become smaller, weaker, and more prone to disease. Lifespans will shorten. Food will lose its nutrition. The air and water will carry impurities. People will eat the wrong things at the wrong times and call it freedom. They will poison their bodies and call it choice. Written when the forests were thick and the rivers ran wide. Written before industry, before pollution, before microplastics and processed food and soil depletion. Written by men sitting in pristine wilderness who somehow saw, through the lens of time, a world choking on its own consumption. This is where skepticism starts to strain. One accurate prediction could be coincidence. Two could be pattern recognition. But the systematic accuracy across every domain, political, social, environmental, spiritual, physical, moves past coincidence into something else entirely. If they predicted this with this precision, what else did they get right? About the nature of consciousness? About the mechanics of karma? About what happens after death? About the existence of a reality beyond the one your senses can detect? This is not ancient literature. Read it as ancient literature and you've missed the entire point. The Bhagavatam is a diagnostic manual. It looked at the trajectory of human consciousness and said, here's where you're headed, not as punishment, as prediction. The way a doctor says, if you continue this diet, here's what will happen to your heart. Not a curse, a reading. And the reading is accurate. Uncomfortably, undeniably, specifically accurate. So now you have a decision. You can say interesting historical text and move on. Or you can sit with the implications. If this text correctly predicted your political systems, your social decay, your environmental crisis, your spiritual confusion, and the degradation of your body, then the parts you haven't tested yet deserve your attention. The parts about consciousness, about the nature of the soul, about the mechanics of birth and death and what lies beyond both, about the existence of a divine intelligence that is not separate from you. The Bhagavatam is not asking you to believe. It's saying, I showed you my accuracy on the things you can verify. Now consider that I might be accurate on the things you can't. Kali Yuga, the age of iron, the age of confusion, the age of hypocrisy, the age you were born into. The Bhagavatam describes it with the clinical precision of a text that has seen every age come and go and knows exactly what each one looks like. And the portrait it paints of your world is not flattering. It is honest. And honest right now is the most useful thing a sacred text can be. But here's what the Bhagavatam does that most prophecies don't. It doesn't leave you in the darkness. It doesn't describe the disease and walk away. Because hidden inside the worst age, woven through the iron and the confusion and the decay, is a single extraordinary blessing. An opening so powerful that the sages of previous ages looked at Kali Yuga with envy. What is that blessing? And why would anyone envy the age of darkness? That's next. And it changes everything.